Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to take a look at a map named Quarry. Starting things off nice and simple, I'm just going to hold the pedal to the floor, and then we get to fall off of a mountain in about 2 seconds flat. And we have our vehicle destroyed in about 10 seconds. Well, probably less than that. I wasn't counting the time. Point is, it's a good map for just destroying a vehicle in a very short period of time. Will this thing drive? Let's find out. Yes, it will actually still drive, it looks like. So let's go and reset it up here. And drive it off the cliff again. Because this is a good cliff to drive vehicles off of. Because it has like a nice variety of like shapes to it and stuff. And where the rocks are at. And it seems like you get a lot of different looking crashes going down it. So like the last one, we went way down the cliff. This one's going to stop us halfway through because we were going slower and stuff. And I could try accelerating all I want, but this is now a broken vehicle. Woo! Nice! I didn't think it would make it over that. So we made it all the way to the ground again. And, yeah, that's just a good little cliff right there. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and reset this and actually drive around the roads some. But one thing I want to point out before we really get too much on these roads is the frame rate. Because that is something that's kind of obvious. You'll probably notice that the frame rate is not great. I get about 25 frames per second at worst using a single vehicle here. And the limiting factor is the graphics card I have, which is an AMD 290X with a very small overclock. And I'm using max settings at 1080p, and I'm basically averaging about 30 frames per second. And what happens is if you look this direction, your computer has to render all of this stuff over here. And that makes your frame rate really drop. If you look this direction, you get a really high frame rate because there's not that much for the computer to render. So what I'm getting at here is if you don't have a really good graphics card, this probably is not a good map for you to download because your frame rate will be a lot worse than any of the other normal maps that come with the game. This is a really intense map, and the reason really is just the style of design. Like the Quarry in itself is bad for your frame rate because it's just such a big wide open area. Normally you have trees and stuff, so you don't see like a mile away like that. Instead you just see feet in front of you, which is easier on your computer. So I just wanted to get that through and talked about. And basically the frame rate here is like as low as I'll allow it to get. If I average 30 frames per second, that's good. If it was worse than that, I would lower my graphics settings. And I don't know if you just saw that right there. I should have slow-moed it beforehand. But those blocks are kind of iffy as well. Like I'm telling you all the negatives right now. Those blocks and the frame rate are the worst parts about the map. And we'll talk about the good parts later. It's just kind of the situation came up where the bad parts come up first. Because I kind of had to address the fact the frame rate was terrible, and now, since we crashed into this, I have to talk about that too. So watch this, alright? I'm driving along, and I'm not going to go and actually crash into it visually, but I will crash into it invisibly. So I'm driving, boom, right there. I crashed into it hard enough where I lost all of my momentum, and my car is severely damaged. And that's because the visual piece of that doesn't extend out as far as the actual part you would collide into. So right here I'm crashing into it, the game thinks, but it doesn't look like I am visually to the player. So when you see those things, stay far away from them because they are evil. Now let's go to this dead end and then we'll try to just kind of do something interesting here. Do something cool, truck. I believe in you. Be cool. It's probably gonna hit in the visible wall. Boom. Good example of the invisible wall again. And that's really the two biggest issues with the map is you gotta have a good computer and those walls are evil. So let's go and reset the truck and maybe we'll use a more appropriate vehicle for this situation. So let's go and go into the map editor, the vehicle selector, and I want to use a Hirochi Sunburst 2.0 all-wheel drive rally DCT. And these roads really do just make me think of like a rally course because they're narrow dirt roads. They have a lot of elevation changes. And they have a good variety in corners. Like some of them you really have to slow down to get around. Other ones you just go full throttle through them and move the steering wheel and you'll be totally fine. So it's a nice variety in that aspect. And to me, that is a rally course. So I figured let's use this car. Now bottoming out isn't an issue unless you fall off the course and hit the rocks on the side of the road. Otherwise though, you can go flat out through pretty much every section and not have to worry about bottoming out. Your main concern is just getting around the corner okay and not flying off the course and dying. So like right here, no problems, no problems. I lost my bumper because I fell off the course. If you do stupid stuff like that though, that can cause you to bottom out or even worse, flip over. I didn't expect to actually flip over. That was totally unexpected. I'm just driving along like, ooh, that looks fun. Speaking of fun though, those actually are good. This has like some good places where you could do like off-roading with like a truck and stuff too. Again, though, here we are at these things. I don't trust them one bit. It's like, what is this? What is this nonsense? I don't trust these things. I stay away from them. Let's see. I don't want to go all the way back to over where I was. So let's move myself up over here and drive from this spot. Interestingly enough, though, even though the walls are kind of scary to crash into, the heavy machinery is totally fine to crash into. For example, this guy over here, you crash into him, and when you crash exactly what you would expect. There's no issues with crashing into him. It's just the walls that are kind of weird like that. You can even drive under him, actually, and you don't have any issue. Of course, you will eventually hit your roof because, well, there's a bar of metal there or something that you'll crash into. But there's no issues with driving into him. It's just the walls. Anyhow, let's try to drive and move on. I don't know if that's going to be really possible with this thing after the crashing I just put it through. It seems okay, I guess. Sort of okay. Oh my goodness. That front right wheel is not doing well, I don't think. But we'll keep going. We're just going to keep driving along. As long as I can. Because I want to drive around the roads some more. I mean, most of the roads are pretty similar. So you probably have a good idea of what they're like already. But we could do a little more. Because if I make a mistake, fun things can happen. For example, if I just say I'm going to go full throttle, no brakes, eventually we'll have to fall off of a cliff or something. Well, maybe not, because I can't get up to high speed. So let's make it happen. It's always a fun thing to do, but the frame rate can kill you. Yeah, it really can right there. I think we hit about 22 frames per second, I saw. And that's a ruined car. Let's go and reset it. Where are we? We're way back here. How about this? Let's change vehicles. And let's use the VW Polo, because that's a very fitting vehicle for this environment, I think, following the same logic I used when I selected the Hirochi Sunburst. Gotta get out of here. And all that dirt is being kicked up all over the place, man. It's a lot of dirt. Anyways, I figured let's use a different car, get some variety going. Because we're gonna be driving the exact same road. That's the issue here. We're driving the same road I just drove on. The first split in the road I see, I'll go the opposite direction. But either way, we're going to drive the same road for a little bit. I believe this is actually the fastest car for dirt roads in BeamNG.drive, actually, though. Like, even compared to the other rally cars, I'm pretty sure this one's the best one there is. At least that's my opinion. Like, it is the fastest feeling one as well. So here's a different way we could go, and it's a dead end. Oh, well. At least we got to wreck up the car some. And come on, drive. Yeah, it's not going to go nowhere. So let's reset him over to here. And I think this will be the last run we do just driving around on the dirt roads, because by now you probably have a pretty good idea of what they're like. They're pretty consistent in design, so there's nothing that's really going to take you by surprise unless you, hit a boulder that you don't see coming, which can happen if you sway off the road just a little bit, but I'll try not to do that. And we're just going to go full throttle and fly off of it again over here, because I really like this area. It's a cool area to fly off into, because you got like a swamp down there and stuff, and it's just a cool area. Very, very shallow swamp. In fact, it's shallow enough where the car probably would have a functional engine if it didn't kind of flip into here and destroy itself. Anyways, let's go ahead and reset that one more time and bring out a different vehicle. I'm going to use the default version of the Gravel D-Series Off-Road Edition. So that's the D15 V8 all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, off-road manual. So we're going to go ahead and grab that, and I'll use orange. And I really can't explain why I like the bright colors so much. It's just, I like them. Even though both the cars I own are not bright colors, because I buy them for what they are mechanically and not what they are visually, and they just happen to be dark colors. Maybe it's just the fact that I can't have bright colors in my cars because they aren't bright colors. But bright colors like this truck, I love them. Anyways, though, we're getting all off topic. The reason I grabbed this truck is because you can do some off-roading kind of stuff, like more serious off-roading, not rally-style off-roading, over here and really throughout the whole map. So I'm going to put this thing in the manual, and now I could do things like this, where I just crawl over some relatively rough terrain. And depending on the angle you come at, it can be pretty easy, like over here, or there are other areas where it's really difficult to go through it. So for example, let's say the goal was to get onto that road up above us. We would try to find a path that works for doing that, and I'm thinking something like this might work out okay. Oh, come on. Yeah. And that's, like I said, the easier side. If you want the harder side, that's over here. Right over there. There's the harder side. Ow. As you can see, there's a very big boulder right there, which has managed to destroy my truck. Told you it was harder. But there's a lot of areas around here where you could do stuff like that. That's just one of them. Come on, truck, upright. Oh, I shouldn't have accelerated. I ruined everything. All right, reset you then. I hate when it looks like it's rolling, like it's gonna flip upright, and then it's like, oh, I just hit reset anyways. But right here, though, it's like a good terrain just to drive through for something like this. At least to me, it's enjoyable and fun. Unless I crash into things, then I get sad because I ruined my vehicle. Like, these door latches really suck. I didn't feel like I was driving that fast when I crashed into the rock. And my other door pops open too. So close the doors. Where's that road go? I'm a little lost. That's the problem, though. You get lost when you start just driving through the dirt. You're like, where am I? I don't know. Well, this road I've actually don't know if I've seen before. This one's not exactly a rally road now, is it? It's a little too rough to be a rally road. That was a slow flip, dude. That was terrible. It was like 5 miles per hour and I'm flipping over. See, that's why I try to know where I'm driving beforehand, but things happen. Sometimes I find a road where I'm like, ooh, what's this do? And I guess, does it go to like that swamp area? Or am I in the swamp area? Yeah, I'm right next to it. Is that part of the swamp area? Yeah, we're in the swamp area. So that's where I am. I didn't know there was a road through here. This map's surprising me. I'm finding new roads. It's hidden, that's why. Like, it doesn't stand out as much as the other ones because it's covered in shrubs and stuff, or grass or whatever. Cool. So it does have a little bit of variety to the roads. Before I said they're pretty much all the same, but this one's definitely not the same. So I take back my previous statement. I can't believe I never stopped before. That's really bad. And ta-da! Smooth roads. Alright, so that's enough driving around here. One thing I will say is there's no any like airstrip or anything like that. So you can't normally take off a plane to fly around here, but you could always just drop one from the air and take it off like that. And you could fly around some. But another fun thing to do is something like this, where you teleport the car to the very tip top over here. And the way you teleport things, by the way, I should mention it if you don't know, is you hold shift and hit C so you can move the camera around with WASD. Go to where you want, and then you hit F7. And then you could do something like this, where you just fly off of the... Oh, put this rock here. Well, you know what I was about to say. Like this. My truck's already ruined by the time I get off the hill. But it's basically the same thing I did at the very start of the video, except from a higher point, which makes it even more fun. That's like a really poetic way to end a video, wouldn't it be? You start and then end at doing the exact same thing. Well, at the start, I was in the menu saying, hey, this is WhyBeAre. Which wouldn't make sense to do because that would be illogical. Like, you already know who this is because you saw the intro. No need to repeat it. Can I climb over this stuff? Get a different angle? Go, truck, go! Oh, wow, it actually made it. So we can go here, do a different angle on things. I just like the cliffs around. I like the surrounding terrain a lot on this map. The roads and stuff almost comes second to all the surrounding terrain and stuff. It's just a really nice terrain to do stuff like this or just even drive over. I like it for that. I also like the design itself. It's a cool map. Has a unique look to it. Like a lot of the maps by default for BeamNG.drive, they're foresty areas. This one, the Quarry and stuff, it's a totally unique design. And I know I sounded like I was going to end the video, huh? But I'm not. I'm busy wrecking my truck up and smashing into things which I didn't even see was there. You know, I was trying to fly off the cliff some more, and I ended up crashing into something. Oh, come on, go off the cliff! What is this, you don't want to die? Well, I don't care. I want you to fly and get ruined and die and stuff. There. I should point out, I believe the water is a fully functional, normal water thing, so you can't drive underwater or anything like that. You go in the water, then your car stops functioning, which makes sense. See, right here, non-functional because of water. I think that'll do it though for this map. Till next time, this has been WhyBeAre, and I'll see you next time. That should be the thumbnail, or that, something like that should be the thumbnail. That's a cool looking thing, huh? Like my truck is on that thing. That's what I'll probably use. Anyways, I'll see you again.